Welcome back. It's Leo again here from marketingwithleonard.com. I hope you enjoy the WordPress installation. I mean, I was excited teaching that topic. It's fairly broad, and as you can see, there's three ways to install WordPress, and now that's kind of intermediate to advanced topic. Given that if you know how to install WordPress in three different ways, you get to you pass the basic knowledge of WordPress. You've simply understood or understand that you can use the FTP or you can download and extract it. So having that knowledge, it gives you a confidence on how WordPress can be handled, can be installed. So so from the beginning, since we started this journey of training course, if you didn't know WordPress and you got to the stage where you can actually install it now in three different ways, that's a very good accomplishment. See, so don't be frightened with technologies. This is what I'm saying to my customers, to my client. Embrace them. If someone show you, how simply you do your things, especially technical matters like that, um, then once you see it, once you witness it, and you will say, okay, well, it's not that bad. You can actually do it. Um, so I encourage you to keep up with technology and embrace technology and learn, learn because especially those technology that will enhances your life. I mean, you look at the smartphone these days. You can't have smartphone these days. You cannot have without them. So it's so important. All right. So the topic today is working with WordPress. So as you can see on my screen, it is the dashboard. So when you log on to WordPress, this is what you see. And this page tells you a lot of what's happening with your WordPress. Um, let's start from the top. Up the top here, you can write your own first blog. Um, I'll go through. I'll go through. I'll start from the top and we'll go all the way down. Um, now, mind you, this is a basic to intermediate course. So what you're learning from here will be the foundation as you move and progress learning WordPress throughout your career. Now, if you worked with WordPress before and if you know how to install and configure WordPress, well, you can skip and go into you can skip this um, and go into the next module, which is the cPanel, mastering cPanel. Or you go into the backup, how you back up your WordPress. Um, but if you want to, maybe perhaps you want to, refresh your mind, some of the menus available in WordPress, well, perhaps you can stick around and just, watch and see if you can pick up some old ideas or new ideas. All right, so as I mentioned, next let's start with the dashboard, and here you can write your own first blog post. All it is just a post up here. It tells you add page, add about a page. So if you click on this, it tells you, what is your. You can actually create your own page and make them as menu later on. So let's say, about us, and then you write about your company here on what you do and things like that. And then you can, publish that. And that about us will become part of your header. You see, you you see later on when we work with the menus, as you can see up there, that becomes your header. We can customize this header once we get into once we get into appearance and headers or header. So so let's take it one step at a time. We're not going to jump ahead. And here you can view the site exactly the same way I have shown you here. You can right click and view, and on this side you can manage the widget and menus. Now we talked about briefly about the menus, and what are the widgets? Well, let's go in there. Widgets are those menus that you see on the right hand side of a page where you see recent posts. You can do search. If you're looking for articles or something like that, you can do search and things what's been archived. I'll give you an example. If we go into this particular website, let me just close view my screen. As you can see here, she got some, she's got some posts, and she's got the search button down here. Now that's the widgets here. So what we're seeing here is exactly the same, but hers is just customized. It's been customized for her own purpose, based from her, business requirements. You can actually customize those. You can move them around. As you can see, I can just move them around, and you can also add. If I want to add my calendar there, okay, and just put a title on it. If you don't want this anymore, you can just delete it, or you can just simply drag it out. It's very customizable. Um, so if you want to preview it, here's the thing. Every time you preview your site, don't click on this because it takes you out of this page. You want to stay on this page when you're customizing WordPress. Okay, so here's the trick what I normally do. Always right click. Okay, so point your cursor, right click, and open in a new tab. Okay, that's the trick. So you stay here. So every time you see those menus, and if you want to view them on a different page, and if you want to stay on this page, always right click and open a new tab. That way it's easy to go back. Okay, as you can see, there's nothing in the widgets because we haven't populated it. Um, okay, so that's the widget part. You can go through this. You can research a little bit more in Google. The other thing as well is if you want to create a second widget, you can, let's say your RSS, you can just drag and drop in there, expand this buzz, and just drag it there. Okay, then you put your URL title, etc., etc., and let's just drag it out. If you want to create a custom menu, you can just drag and drop it. So that's the widget part. So let's go back into the dashboard. Now, I'm not going to cover the menus here because we're going to cover that down the track somewhere in here. There are menus. There's menus here, so we're going to cover that under the appearance. And these are the number of posts you so far, the number of available posts and pages, and your current version of your WordPress. So that's your current version of WordPress. Um, and I believe the latest version, I believe is, I'm not sure if it's 3.8 is available. And that's your recent post there. It will look like that. If someone posts a comment, you can approve them, or you can basically, treat them as spam or trash them. Because this, remember, WordPress was originally designed as a blog site, and that's why that's the legacy there of WordPress. They still added in where people can post comment, and you see that a lot on, on most forums, blog site, because WordPress was designed originally as a blog site. On this side, you can add a media such as videos and images and things like that. So it tells you a lot about what's happening with your WordPress, what's in it. So it just give you a bird's eye view. Um, but for if you become an advanced user of WordPress, you tend to work with all these menus here. You don't stay on the WordPress because you want to target specific task and move on. And the problem with WordPress is very slow. You know, later on, uh, I will create a separate videos and deals with WordPress and why it's so slow. It's not just because it's shared, um, or depending on who's your hosting provider, by the way. The other thing is because working directly with the server, and it's very slow. That's a natural fact. I will create a video down the future where I'll explain to you, what are the alternatives and how you make this pasta. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's. I know I'm going up tandem here, but let's stick with the dashboard. Okay, post. This is where you simply add a post. Um, these are the posts, as you can see here. You know, every time you hit a post, they'll be they will show up on your page. Uh, that's the latest post there. You can see from the dates. So every time you create a post, it will rank them and it will show them as your first post listed on your page here. So every time you hit create a post, it basically set them as a chronological order. So like a blog, you creating you have a new idea, for instance, and you want to add that ideas and post that into your blog. Well, this is where you do it. Just like this website here, she created a post, your strategy for a peaceful, stress-free Thanksgiving. That's a post, and that's where you normally create them. And category. All right, category is interesting. If you go back into this particular site, I'm not sure they are categorized. Oh, there you go. Popular training. These are probably categories. Here it is. That's a category there. Business, home business, spiritual, self-improvement, personal finance. That is a category. So if you want to create a category, you simply build them up here and then you add them. Put a bit of description and you save and they will show up here. So when you post in the future, if you go back into add post, you can basically, okay, what is this post about? Okay, so let's say if you're posting in regards to relationship or weight loss. Okay, if you have a post, if you have a category related to let's say health, let's create a health. Add that. Here, this post here will come under the health category. just like what this website did. Okay, so that's what category means. So if you want to create a category, um, you can do so while you're creating your posts. So tags. I'm not gonna save that, by the way. I'm just gonna leave that there. I don't usually use tags. Uh, I tend to use, categories and things like that. But here you can just simply add your tags. Media is primarily deals with, if you want to add medias, such as videos or files, images and things like that. This is where you add them. Select a file. Primarily, images, unless your theme is designed for videos. There are, a lot of WordPress theme out there that are designed for uh, not only designed for images but also designed for videos. So um, pages pages mainly deals with your menus. That's the page. It's not talking about posts, okay? It's talking about page. When you move from one page, as you can see that's a page there, okay? If you go back to about, that's another page, and that's what you creating here. You're creating a page. So if I upgrade this about page before I started this training, so I can demonstrate to you that it will show up there. So let's create one, and let's let's say put let's say contact us, which is one of those popular page. So you put your details there, obviously, and if I refresh my screen, and that's a page, contact us. Okay. So you need to understand the difference between what you're posting and what is page. Okay. Typically, if you're posting a blog, a story or an event, whatever, you typically going to post and you post them. As opposed to a page, if you wanna build a page relating to contacts, um, relating to about your company, about your vision or mission, things like that, um, and you wanna basically um, add that as part of your menu. That's where you create them. Comments. Comments are typically those comments that people post them and that you approve that will show up here. Now, here, if someone posts a comment, always set the menu or the features requires approval from administrator. I'll show you where you find that. Because you don't want someone posting, you know, immediately on your blog, and because if someone posts a some inappropriate comments there, um, and if you're not around or to review that post, a lot of people will see it, and it doesn't add value to your blog. So make sure you approve it first before you post it. Well, here you can basically do a lot of things. Either you can trash it, spam it, you can edit it, or you can reply to the post, things like that. So that's under the section of comments. Appearance. Now we briefly covered this from early video. This is your team. You know that's the current team that we are currently using. The 2013 team, and it's version 1.1. And this is the old theme here, previous theme. So you can swap them around by activating it. So if you in the down the future, when you start building your website, you start, finding what themes you want. This is where you go and install it. So to install a theme, you simply upload it, and then you go browse, and then find your theme, and then install it, and then it will show up here. And then all you have to do to make it as your default theme, you simply activate it. Now, if you're not happy with the theme for some reason, there are occasions when theme installation doesn't go well, and when you try to view a page, it's basically busted. The page, sorry, when you try to view your theme, sometimes it doesn't load properly. Sometimes you get an error and things like that. Um, your best option would be, first things first, is to activate an existing theme, make that as your default, and then delete the one that's got corrupted and then import it again. So that's my advice to you. If a theme got corrupted during the installation, switch a theme, switch a previous theme and then delete that and then start again. So if you if you had that problem, if you come across that down the future, just do exactly that. So let's go to customization. I'm gonna go through this quickly because there's a lot of menus to cover. Customization, as you can see, that is your title, and that's what will show on the above your. So if you change this to, you know, this is live, by the way. The moment you change, it will impact your website. You know, so you gotta be careful when you do this because it will. The moment you hit save and publish, that will broadcast. That is live. So that's the disadvantage of working with WordPress directly, because if you make mistake here inadvertently and you didn't do it purposely, and then a few hours later you find out and I shouldn't have posted that. Oh, that was a mistake. Every mistake you commit here, it's live. That's a disadvantage. In the future, I will create a videos on how you overcome that. You know, because everything you do here, it's live. It's being seen. You know, uh, everywhere whoever's accessing your website. So you just have to be careful. In terms of color, that's the color of your text. You can just change your text color of your header. So I'm going to set it back to default. And the header image, that's the header image there. You can add and remove header image. This is not where you add and remove you can remove your images here, but this is not where you add them. I'll show you later where to add them. And static front page. Now we talked about your latest post. So if you go back into main menu. Now the reason I picked this site is because I like this site because it's the way this site is structured is so easy to find things, and these are the latest. See this? That's latest updates, which means that's my latest post, and it's categorized easily and in bold text, so you can really read them quickly. Um, and okay, let's go back into static page, static front page. So every time you post something, do you want it to have a static or do you want your latest post? So looking at this site here, it looks to me that every time a new post is created, it becomes it will sit on the top of your page. And if you look at all these are all chronological order. As you can see, that's dated November, and that's November 25th, and this is dated November 24. And that's how you control your, how those posts will behave. Either you want to have static or you want to have your latest post. You tend to you tend to select that as your latest post, obviously, because that's the purpose of posting a latest updates there. You want to have it to sit on the top of your page rather than on the bottom, or rather than a static. Means it doesn't change, it's always static. So okay, we're not going to save anything there. Let's move on. Um, let's go to widgets. We briefly touch on the widgets. Those are the menus that you see on the right hand side of your screen. These are widgets there. What you're seeing here are absolutely widgets. These are also widgets. Widgets, because the only difference is they're all customized. And if you know a bit about CSS, well, a bit of coding, you can actually create your own. Um, Expand that. You create your own widgets with some codes. You simply type the name of your title here, and then you put your codes there. And if your codes is simply to create to create an opt-in page, for instance, or to create a customized page book or customized logo, things like that. Um, that's where you create them. You create a text and you add it here. So that's widgets. Menus. We briefly talked about menus. When you create a page, okay, that form parts of your pages. And if you want to create a menu, these are the default menus. As you can see, about us, contact us, and these are your pages. So if I create a menus now, this sample page will be added. Um, Actually, it's already there. So what's missing? Contact us. Home. This home button will be, or not a button, but it's a menu. It will be created here. So home is always it's always gonna point back to this. That's your home page. So if I hit create now, at the moment I don't have menus. So if I hit this create now, I just name it as menu, so very basic. If I refresh this, okay, it didn't add that menu, that home button there. All right. Well, that's a home page. It brings, as I mentioned, it takes you back to this web page. So that's your home. Just looking at it. Maybe not on this theme. Can't see that button. Usually they post it here. In the previous theme, definitely show up there. Maybe I have to refresh it again. Okay. All right. Anyway, if you create a page, it will show up here, and it will become part of your menu if you want to add it in. You can just simply tick it and then add. Hit the add menu. Now links, if you have other links pointing to a different website, uh, that's where you add them. So if you want to add a link to add the link to CNN, for instance.com, and I'm going to create an add menu. If I repress that, for some reason it's not adding it. So That's our calendar, by the way. It's part of the widgets. So it's there. So for some reason, I might have to. My browser just cached my screen. Let's go back up there. For some reason, it's not showing it. I know in the previous theme, that's where you usually add your links and things like that. Category, you've seen this before. You can add categories, and and then you can add them to your menus. Going back here, these are the categories here, as you can see, as we talked about previously. So header, not gonna save that. Oh, that's why. That makes sense because I haven't saved it. I should have saved that anyway. Interesting, they're not showing up. So I'll get back to you on that one. For some reason, they're not showing up because they form part as your menu. So for some reason, they're not showing up. So I'm not sure about what's happening with this theme, which is kind of interesting. All right, so that's a menu. Let's heads over to header. Remember we talked about different types of images, and this is where you upload your customized image. Now you have to pay attention to the size of it. That's the size of your pixel. So it's 1600 by 230 pixels. So it means it's 1600 length and it's 230 in pixels. 230 in pixels. So this is where you simply browse and update it. Browse, just simply upload your image here, and then it will show up here. Um, you can simply change your image. Now these are the default image. Now there's a function here. It says random, showing a different image on each page. So which means every time you load, every time you go back to your home page, it's different. If you go back to a different page, it's different again. So it's randomized them. That's what it is. If you want to remove your image header, I'm not sure why you want to do that. Or if you made a mistake, you just simply restore it. And we talked about briefly about the text. That's the color of your text here. It says here header text, so I'm not going to save anything there. All right, editor. Editor, interesting one. If you know about a bit about CSS, it's the language that WordPress is written primarily, and this is your section here. This is where you have to go. This is your part. Now these are all the templates, um, and you can just simply pick and choose. That's the archive. Uh, if you know about CSS, well, this is the area where you customize your page. So, all right, let's go into plugin. Actually, let me go back there. At the moment, we're using the 2013 themes. If you go into head over to 2012 theme, you select that. Now, these are the templates of 2012 theme. So I'm not sure why you want to use that if you're currently using the latest one. So we'll set it back to 2013. I'm just demonstrating to you that you can tag along, switch between a current theme and the old theme. So let's log in. Let's head to plugin. Now this is probably one of the most important menu of WordPress plugins. Plugins are what really defines WordPress apart from the themes and child themes and plugins. Those are the three most important things here because you can buy plugins for a specific squeeze page. You can buy plugins for a specific sales page. You can buy a lot of stuff, or you can download them for free as well. And a lot of stuff out there are free, like Google Analytics, for instance. If you want to track your website, you want to track this website, right? That's the Google Analytics I want to install. So you click on install, and then you will pay attention to this message here, successfully installed plugin, and gives you the version. And if you want to activate it, hit activate. Now, every time you install plugins, not always though, not always, it will sit here in the settings here, Google Analytics. So we just installed that plugin. So let's go to that analytics. Now, so what is analytics, Leah? Well, analytics is your code when you sign up with Google Mail, right? It gives you access to your Google Analytics automatically. Now, Google Analytics is a separate page. Now, for those of you who are savvy internet marketers, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who are learning or new to WordPress, um, Google Analytics is simply your code that enables Google to track the traffic coming into this website. Okay, so that's what it is. And Google Analytics will simply track that and will show the report. It will show a report on a number of. So this is your Google Analytics. Show the number of traffic comes into your website, and that's how Google tracks it, and it will show it. So you sign up with Google account and head over to your Google Analytics, and in Google Analytics it will give you your Google ID, and you simply copy and paste that here, and then you save it. Okay, so it's very simple. It's not that difficult. So going back to plugins, again, you can add tons of plugins like forms plugins, SEO plugins, a lot of stuff. So plugins, it's what really takes WordPress, because there's so many things that you can download in terms of plugins that perform different functions. And I don't know where is WordPress today without plugins. Themes, you can only customize as much you can with themes, but plugins would give you those bells and whistles, and all those various things. Not only that, um, it adds a little fancy features in WordPress. Now, like for instance, looks like these are plugins, shopping cart, and things like that. Those are little plugins that you can download and install. Those little things that add value to your website. All right, that's plugins editor. Now, editor, as I mentioned, if you know a bit about CSS, this is where you practice your CSS. Plugin files, those are the plugin files, and customize them. All right, so we're not gonna spend too much attention on CSS because this is a basic to intermediate level. If I'm doing an advanced level, then we'll probably talk about more on CSS. All right, let's head over to user. Now, at the moment, I'm using this account, PC user. I remember way back when we created when we installed WordPress, we nominated this user account. Okay, as I said many times. Okay, make create an account. Okay, don't use admin because everybody knows admin. Create an account that is distinguished, that is different, you know, to a admin account. So make it something else, admin underscore user or admin something else. Put some numbers there or whatever. Just don't use the admin because you're making it easier for the hackers to hack your site. You know what I mean? Make it making it difficult. Okay, that's the whole idea of securing a website. In the future, I will create a videos on how you secure your WordPress website. That's a part of the security. Now, if you want to add let's say if you want to add a user who wants to maintain this, you want to keep that account, you know, separately, and you want to keep it as your own. You don't want to share it, so you can add a user here and simply what sort of role this particular user, either this user is subscriber or contributor or the author or administrators. Administrator, you have the full authority to do a lot of things. Editor, you can only edit. Author, you can post. Contributor. So the more you go down the list, the more high authority you have. And administrator is the god of all the role. You can do anything you want on this website. So that's where you add a particular user. All right, so let's go into profile, and that's just the color of your admin dashboard. Um, Here it's pretty basic. I'm currently logged in as this user, and it's just display my details. Now, one thing that I have to emphasize here is make sure you have your email address here, because if you happen to lock yourself out in WordPress, right? And if you don't remember your email address, or if you don't have your email address here, when you reset your password, WordPress will ask you, okay, what is the email address where I'll be sending the password? Well, if you don't have your email address there, how WordPress is going to send you and reset your password? There's a ways to get around with that, but that's the it's important to have your email address here, a valid email address, because I use it all the time because I got so many websites, and it's hard to track, what password that this in this particular website has. And if you build so many websites, you tend to lose one or not remember one, so you have to reset them. So it's important to have a valid email address there. This email address here was created when we initially installed WordPress. Remember way back in module 8, module 7, when we installed WordPress. Apologize, I have a bit of cold. There's We have a party going on. The weather is a little bit funny here in Sydney at the moment. It's We get warm weather. It was warm weather on the weekend. Now it's raining. It's cold. It's like back in autumn. So I apologize for my voice. Okay, so that is your profile. Um, you can fill in all the details there. Let's head over to tools. Head over to tools. Now there's not much you can do on the tools here. You can import things, or you can export things. It tells you what they are. Install the blogger, import tools, comment, blog roll, and things like that. So just read about just read when you get to this section, just have a bit of read on those, and it gives you an idea what they are. Now, setting is a very important menu in WordPress, because what you see and how you access WordPress and the format, are all controlled under here. This is my site title and my tagline. As you can see, that's my site title, and the tagline is it's right there. So that's all controlled here. And how you access, would you put www there, or would you not put a www there? So what's the distinction between a WordPress address and a site address? Well, we are in WordPress, okay? And that site there is a WordPress site. In the past, they don't have this www. So you can type in, this address straight away, and it will not populate that www. But on this version of 2013 theme, but somehow they add www there. Now in the previous theme, those www are missing. Well, what's the big deal? Well, a lot of users are, a lot of users are uh, are familiar with, www. So when they jump on to, Google, or to browse a website, they typically go www and then the website or the host fully qualified domain name. And 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 if you don't have that, well, what's typically happen is, it will only show as like that, and the user will start to wonder, hang on, that's not www, why it's heading over there. So I think it's just for friendly, it's just for user point of view. That's why they add www. For an admin point of view, for like myself, it's irrelevant. As long as I can get in there to my WordPress, that's all that matters. Now we talked about our email address here. It's important you have to have a valid email address here, because that's all the corresponding communication between WordPress and you. If someone posts a comment, it gets emailed to this. If you want to reset your password, it gets emailed to this. So it is important to remember your email address. So that's one, which is a given. And second thing is make sure it's there. It will not, the moment when you install WordPress, it's always there. Okay. So what I'm just saying is, um, make sure that, if you have a lot of email address, for instance, I have a lot of email address, for instance, and if I don't remember what email address that I've nominated to a site, right? So you have to figure out, hang on, I've reset the password, okay? And then I've nominated an email address. Or when WordPress try to reset your password and there's a mismatch with an email address, it won't recognize it. It will recognize it, but will send it to a different email account. Then you have to find that mailbox and log in there. So that's why it's important to remember which email address is nominated to your site. What I normally do, here's my best practice, is just to keep one email address. And that way it's easy to, you know, it's easy to track them down. Because as you build website, more and more website, you will need an email address for each website. So if you have multiple email address and you don't remember which one you nominated, it will take you time to find that email came from WordPress when you reset the password. Because what's going to happen is WordPress will send you an email and there's a link there to reset your password. All right, so that's just a tip. I don't normally take this. Anyone can register, because anyone can register and start subscribing, posting them. I know you guys are spammers. Some of you are spammers. So I don't take that. I'm just kidding. Of course you're not. You're learning these materials, and I'm giving you the a good solid advice here. What I'm teaching you here, guys, is the foundation. That's why I named the course is the fundamental of WordPress. If you master all this, all what I'm teaching you here, this is your building block to, and that will take your career as an internet marketer. If you're starting now, in particular, or even if you're novice, if you don't usually work with, with WordPress day in day out, some settings here will, you will lose them because you heard that saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, same in IT, exactly the same. I work in IT for many years now. If I learn something, I need to apply it. If I don't, I will lose it because there's so many things happening. There's so many things, information coming in, come and go. And so what I'm teaching here is your building block, is your foundation. Because to master something, you need to learn the fundamental. Okay? So I'm teaching you the fundamental here, and hopefully it will take you to wherever you want to go from there. So, and as being an internet marketer, the learning curve is so steep. I have to tell you, I've been in this industry, in the IT industry, for over a decade, and I have to go through that learning steep curve. But with a technical background, that helps a ton. I can tell you that helps a ton because I'm so used to a lot of things and much more technical than this. And I'm going here as a basic because if you're starting new, if I started this course as advanced, intermediate to advanced, then it's going to be hard for you to pick up. So, okay, let's go into let's continue. Those are just date formats and time zone, whatever, you know. If you're in a different time zone, you set that up. Not gonna make any change here. Let's go into writings. Writings is some of the things here are very self-explanatory. Format, if you want to have some mini icon like that, emotional icon. Category, what is your default category? Every time you go into the main page, well, hit every time you create a page, what is my default category or post, okay? And format post, a standard. Uh, I tend to leave the standards here. I don't tend to normally play around with them. And if you want to if you want to allow your website to post by email, okay, you can set that up here. That way, when people get a comment by emails, they can reply to that comment, and this is where you set it up. So you need your mail server and your credentials. And again, I'll create a category and make that as a my default category. You don't want your end category, it doesn't look professional. So I'll save that this time. All right, let's over to readings. Reading is we briefly touch on the default page. Every time you post something, what will appear in your website? Will your latest post will show up? Just like this website here, that's the latest post. Or will you have it as a static, a permanent? You know, when you create a page, let's say about us, or about, you don't want to have that as your front page. You want to have a front page, as always, excuse me, as your latest post. So I will tend to leave that alone. And how many number of posts that you can have in one page? So how many number of those posts to show in one given page? So that's what it is. So on this side, how many they have? They have 8. So we have 10. So now here what it looks like, when you post something, will it looks this is a summary, by the way. So there's a distinction. That's a full text. If I click on that, when I post, will it show as a full text or will it show as a summary? Okay, so that's the summary there. And that's what it's talking about here. Do you want it shown as full text or summary? Or if you want to regularly keep posting in your blog, well, you want to have that as a summary because you don't want to end up every time you post, it occupies the entire page. No, you want your readers to be able to view, uh, you know, all your posts there in chronological order, so and they can pick and choose which topic they want to read. And obviously, you want to encourage the search engine to index this site. Well, I don't see why you want to untick that unless your site is not ready yet. And I'll leave that alone. So not gonna save anything there. Um, Discussion settings. That's primarily all the settings there. Um, on the comments, you need to be able. Let's start from the top. Attempt to notify by blog link from other articles. By default, it's not set. There are other links that are useful here. Ping and track. I wouldn't usually tick those. People to post comment on new articles. I will allow them. And now this is an interesting one. Other comments, they need to have their name and email address. So down the track, you need to be able to communicate with them in the email, particularly if you become acquainted with that particular, visitors down the track, if you want to do business with them. You save a copy of those email address, and the rest you can leave them as they are. Here's an interesting one. Anyone posts a comment. Well, I don't want anyone to post a comment. I need a moderator to hold it for moderation. I need a comment is held for moderation, which means let's start there. I don't want anyone to post a comment on. Actually, I, I want anyone to post a comment, but what I need is I need to approve them. Okay, before, as you can see here, I need to approve before I post a comment here. So that must be so if okay, let's break it down because this is so important. Anyone can post a comment. A comment is held for moderation. Me as an administrator, I need to approve that. Now, I need to manually approve a comment because if the comments is automatically approved, then people can post that automatically. And people who have commented before must previously that's been approved. Then they can start commenting. So I want to make sure that you guys are clear on this. Any post a comment, that's fine. Anyone can post a comment. As you can see here on this side here, if I click on that, at the bottom of this page, okay, all right, that is the comment field there, okay. Now you don't want anyone just quickly posting there without you approving them. Make sure you approve them first. Comment must be manually approved. So you need to manually go in there and approve them. You don't want anyone who just simply go in there and start posting unnecessary, you know, things that are not related to the topic or spamming you. So this is a very good, uh, it's a very good features where you prevent all the spammers from spamming your site. So must be manually approved. You don't want it automatically, but manually approved. Okay. And that's pretty much it. You can blacklist anyone, their email address or URL. Interesting. And these are all your avatar. These are the pictures that people will show up if they start blogging. And if someone registered as you, that's what your image will look like. Or these are by the way, these are the default values. So media, as we talked about this briefly, the size and width. These were all the controls, the size of the images, and we're not going to spend too much time on that. It's pretty basic. Permalinks. This is an interesting one. As you can see here, this is the default one. It creates this, it creates this characters here. With puts a character, letter, and then some symbols and numbers again. You will see that a lot. If you in Google, for instance. If I head over to Google, as you can see, Google uses that permalinks, that particular default links. Okay, which is kind of unreadable. You can't read that. It's all a bunch of characters. Now, what you need for your blog site, what you need is a post name, because you need to be able to, particularly if you're doing an SEO post name, if you're doing an SEO, you need to be able to rank. If you're ranking for a name, for a topic, or for a keyword, for instance, you need to be able to get Google to rank, read that post. For instance, that is a good example. If you're ranking for find value in your life, right? That's a praise. If you want to rank for that, this is the settings that you need to choose. Okay. As you can see here, there are default date and name, month and name, numerical, post. So it's using the post title. That's what it's doing. Okay. If you want to customize it, do some friendly stuff. Uh, I would tend to use the post name as my permalink. Now, Google Analytics is what we've installed as a plugin, and as you install more and more plugins, they will build up, they will bank up here, So just keep an eye on that. So that's pretty much it. I've covered a lot of ground here, and that's a lot of stuff that I hope you learned something today. Uh, Now you can install WordPress and customize it, install plugins. So that's a valuable skill um, to learn and to have as an internet marketer. You need to be able to do this because if you're starting out, you can't afford someone you can't afford a web developer that can do this for you. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable now with WordPress. I built so many websites. So here's my advice to you. Before you start delegating this sort of work to someone else, you have to have mastered this. You need to master the basic, the fundamental of WordPress. Once you master that, then you can delegate it to someone else. So build, 2 or 3 websites first. Be comfortable, right? Be comfortable because that gives you an experience and confidence on how you work with WordPress. So once you have that experience, okay, then you can delegate that task. Maybe you want to hire a part-time BA in the Philippines or a full-time BA, just like myself right now. I hired a full-time web developer. I can do all these things, but I don't have to because time is important to me. And I've already learned what I need to learn, so I can delegate that. And when we start creating projects, we are at the par level. We are at the same level. Okay, so be in that stage where master the fundamental, and if you want to delegate it to someone else, then at least At least that person must know how to work with WordPress as well. Or you can train that person, but I wouldn't. I will hire the best person that way. You don't have to train them because it's time is an essence. So I hope you learned today. I hope you experience and seen what WordPress look like and the things that you can do with WordPress. As you can see, it's a very easy application and it's a pre-application, but it's very powerful once you learn how to use different features of this, such as different themes, different plugins, and customize it. And you can do a wonderful website here. And I wish you all the best learning WordPress, and I hope you gain a valuable information and learn something that will take you from basic to intermediate level. And because once you start customizing this, you're no longer a basic user. You become an intermediate user. Because not only you know how to install WordPress and the database behind it, you can actually install themes. You can actually start posting your blog and stuff like that. All you have to do is buy a blog theme, okay? A professional blog theme, install it, start posting, customize it, and that's it. That's your blog. You're done. You know, it's that simple. You just spend time a little bit more to tweak it. All you got to do is just tweak it, and that's pretty much it, man. You have your website there. It's up and running. The world can see it. You can put it on your business card. You can tell your friends, hey, look, I've learned this, WordPress training from Leah, and look what I've just, built. So you can impress your friends. All right, so um, the next topic we're going to cover is mastering the cPanel. That's a big topic, and so for now, I'm going to end the session now, and I just simply wish you all the best with your WordPress and career, and I hope you learned something valuable that you can use. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.